Hey,
That's him. I'm me.
this is us. Same intro. This is the extended podcast. Um, same old, same old. I'm JD.
I'm Chad.
This podcasting under the goddamn influence. Number 17?
17.
Yep, 17. 1-7. Alright, I'll just jump right in here. I got a quick rant since I didn't get to elaborate on it very well in the quick cast. The Cowboys and DeMarco Murray. Now, I'm not a Cowboy fan by any stretch, but I've always respected to a degree the rivals of my favorite team. It's kind of a mutual thing. After this whole ordeal with him, I've kind of lost the respect. What Dallas did to DeMarco Murray is fucked up. They went into this season knowing, well, you know what, we don't want to pay this guy a lot of money. Let's just get what we can out of him and kick him to the curb. They ran him 400 times, record-setting 400 times. I think it's like fourth most in NFL history or something like that.
Yeah, they really pushed his production this year.
And they just pounded him in the ground. And it's fine that you do that. That's perfectly fine. But the fact that after that you use the fact that he had over 400 carries to levy against him. Well, we can't give you the contract you're wanting because you had this many carries, and statistically speaking and historically speaking, whenever a running back has this many carries, next year he tails off. Which, you know what, is true, but my issue is the team you had, which, you know, the team, yeah, wasn't a bad team.
Nope.
Dallas, I'm an objective person. They have a very good football team. They're loaded on the offensive end. Defense is not as much, but
Well, now that they figure out the running game actually helps them win.
yeah. And my issue with that is I understand why if you look at the other guys that have carried the ball for almost 400 times, Larry Johnson was the last one to do it, and then Curtis Martin. There was no other offensive weapons on those teams.
That's all they had.
Yes, that's all they had was Larry Johnson and Curtis Martin. You have offensive weapons on Dallas. You have, I can go through the list. Des Bryant. You have Cole Beasley. You have what's his name? Terrence Williams.
Yep.
You have Jason Witten. You have two backup running backs that are pretty darn good. And was it Dunbar and
I can't think of the other guy.
Randall?
Ruben?
Right. Not Ruben Randall. Ruben Randall, receiver for the
Giants.
Yeah. One who stole shit. Who's the one that stole underwear? Was it Dunbar?
I have no idea.
Whatever. Two guys that are decent enough backups that they didn't even hand the ball to. They touched the ball. One of them got 50 carries. The other one got like 40. Okay? And as good as you are offensively and you had to give him the ball and pound the ball to him all that much and put that much wear and tear on him, and then you turn around and say, you're not worth the money because you had this many carries last year. You are not going to have a productive season next year because of all the carries you had this year. Well, the reason why you didn't have that many carries is because you handed the ball to him all the time. And then if he'd have turned around and said, you know what, I got to look at my longevity here. I don't want the ball as much right now because if I have the ball this many carries, I'm going to get injured or I'm not going to have a productive season next year or the year after that or whatever. And they'd have called him a selfish player. That's what most teams do. Do you get my rant here, or am I just?
I understand where you're going with it. Part of that was on him because he definitely wanted the ball. Because had he been able to do that for the entirety of the season, he'd have been the only guy to do that for the entirety of the season. What was it, over 100 rushing yards every game?
Just about.
And then until we got stopped in what, week 10 or week 12?
I think he averaged over 100, but I know he had a couple games he didn't get 100, but he averaged over 100.
If he'd have done that, he'd have been the only guy to have 100 yards every game. And if I was pursuing greatness, I would have done that.
Let's just put dog hair all over that. Got a new member of my clan. My squad in Star Wars. I know you don't care. Let's see here. Okay, I'll get out of this. Focus on the podcast. So that was my rant I wanted to have And I'm really glad DeMarco Murray got his money and got paid. Because, like I said, I'm not a Cowboy fan by any stretch of imagination, but DeMarco Murray had a good year last year. He deserved every penny he gets paid. He deserved. So
yeah, I'm glad he's getting paid.
All right. You want to say anything else out about DeMarco Murray?
I still maintain the only reason they got Bradford was to lure DeMarco Murray over.
I agree with that. But again, how fucked up would it be if they just traded away Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray's like, what the fuck? I mean,
I think he'll be fine regardless because he's definitely going to flourish because Chip Kelly is not afraid to run the ball.
No.
He likes running his super quick Oregon offense, but he ain't afraid to run the ball either.
He likes running the ball, but he likes running by committee. LaShawn McCoy only ran the ball 200 times.
That's a hell of a committee they got going on there right now, though.
Well, Sproles, Ryan Matthews, and then DeMarco Murray.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they'll throw Sproles and them in like the slot and do stuff with them there. But
they might spread it out, do a 2 running back set, split it off.
Maybe.
You don't know where it's going to go, and then it ends up being a passing play to a running back in the end anyway. I saw that happen a couple times last year.
Well, I mean, Chip Kelly's a good good football mind. Let's just put it that way.
I'm just glad somebody else got Ryan Matthews because I think Brandon Oliver now got a chance to actually shine out in Sandy.
We shall see. It's like Anderson for Denver. C.J. Anderson.
That was a good play for me last year. That turned out very well. I'm honestly
the guy from the guy from Saints.
I didn't even look.
The third string guy who had a couple games where he actually
really went off. Now, Brandon Oliver's going to be a value pick. You're going to be able to get him at like 5th, 6th round because no one's even going to be thinking about him. They're going to be looking at the names in our league.
You got Davis also from Chiefs.
Yeah, but I mean, you could actually wait for your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th running backs this year. It's not going to be like it was this year where you had to grab them up earlier. You weren't going to get any because there's going to be a lot of names that people are unfamiliar with and unwilling to test the waters on.
Or you got a lot of names that have been bust in the past, and they might have a revitalization. Like our next topic, Darren McFadden. Which the reason why I had that on the list is because I had him picked to. I had a prediction last week that Jerry Jones was going to go out and sign Darren McFadden once we had heard rumor that DeMarco Murray was heading to the Eagles. I was like, Jerry Jones is going to go sign him because Jerry Jones, whenever DeMarco Murray entered the draft, I don't know what year. Don't even ask me.
Darren McFadden.
That's what I said.
You said DeMarco Murray.
I'm sorry, Darren McFadden. Whenever he went to enter the draft, he played for Arkansas, and Jerry Jones is a huge Arkansas fan, and he really wanted him then. But I think either no one would trade up with him, or no one would, or his son wouldn't allow the trade. I don't know which one it was, but
what year was that?
I want to say 2007, maybe.
I don't think the Cowboys had anything to offer to go up.
Probably not, because they could trade away a bunch of first round or a lot of picks just to get Roy Williams.
Yeah, because they didn't have anything to trade to move up high enough to even get him. So
that might have been it.
Either or.
But he might have his career revitalized. You have C.J. Spiller might have his career revitalized because he's with New Orleans now.
What about Trent Richardson going to the Raiders?
I don't think that's going to help him one damn bit.
I think Trent's a damn bust.
Who's that Miller guy who got like 200 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in one game? Miller? Latavius Miller?
Was it Miller?
Something like that. I don't know, he played for...
The farther away we get from football season, the more stats that I forget.
Okay. Number 3 was our random, and you want to just talk about anything specific. Like, for example, I will talk about the Redskins for 5 seconds. I've been very happy with their offseason and their free agency mentality because usually Redskins go out there and just throw money at a problem, put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, and hope it's the best way to put it.
It's essentially what they do.
It's the best way to put it. Put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound and just throw money at problems. They're getting guys, which I wouldn't mind them getting some guys. Like Sue would have helped us, and so would have Greg Hardy. My issue, though, is whenever they throw money at like, and I didn't mind Brandon Fletcher, but Albert Haynesworth, $100 million, $68 million guaranteed over like 5 years. Just throwing a lot of money at guys that are over the hill and on decline or like right at the cusp.
Not worth it.
The best they ever got is what you saw the year before.
Yeah.
So, and we're not doing that. Like, for example, we got Culliver and John Johnson. John Johnson was the third string, or the third safety after Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas. So I'm certain he did not get a chance to really flourish and show his abilities with Seattle. So, cat hair all over my stuff.
What do you want me to
That's
do?
okay. That's okay. That's all. They live here. Just complain about it, not at you. I'm just complaining about it.
They were here first. I'm pretty sure quarterbacks came at the house.
So, and those guys that are not peaked yet, and they still have a ceiling to get to, and we have like maybe a year or two before they get to that ceiling.
Yeah, they were smart this year.
And they're young. They're also very young. So
they were very smart in free agency this year. They didn't do anything stupid. Now, well, the draft is still coming. It could fall apart, but now with Dan not meddling as much and actually hiring a GM who knows his ass from a hole in the ground, that ought to be helpful.
That GM built Seattle, and he built San Francisco before he built Seattle. So
San Francisco was on their way. You know what? That's what I'm going to insert here. Poor San Francisco. Poor San Francisco. You guys, wow. The guys you had to replace the guys that you had retired.
It's just like an exodus out of San Francisco.
Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to be there. And I think that's kind of sad in a way because their coach is unproven. Their new head coach is unproven so far. Tom Alusa or Tom Sula.
Tom Sula.
Yeah. And
Tom Sula.
Yeah, I feel bad for the organization. I don't know. That's just a lot of shit to go wrong all at once. I mean, and they did it themselves. They shot themselves in the foot when they're like, well, we don't like this Harbaugh guy anymore.
We think their team's good enough without you, John Harbaugh. Just go somewhere else. Now, he does that, and everyone on the team's like,
I'm out.
Fuck you. The only reason we dealt with you is because of that guy.
That guy gave us a chance.
That guy
gave you 3 chances in 4 years.
And, well, 1 year wasn't. I don't think last year was so much his fault because half his defense was out on either suspension or injury or. So he's getting a lot of trouble or credit for a lot of stuff. That isn't really his fault. Again, and there was rumor that Colin Kaepernick was trying to trade Colin Kaepernick.
Why not? The rumor last year was they were trying to trade Harbaugh.
Well, my point is, if you're Colin Kaepernick, I would want out of that shit.
I would
want the fuck out of there as quick, fast, in a damn hurry. That's what I want.
I mean, even if he was backing up somebody, he'd be better off in the situation he's in right now. She's going.
Quick, fast, in a hurry, I want out of that situation. That team's going to suck next year.
He'd be better off backing up Russell Wilson in Seattle.
I think he'd start somewhere for that happen. There's plenty of teams that could trade a second rounder, give him a chance. He wouldn't look bad in Chip Kelly's offense.
He worked perfectly there. That's why they worked out Tim Tebow this week. Segue.
That was awesome.
I like the move. I really do. I know a lot of people out there in the world are sick and tired of Tebow anything, and they're kind of happy that he didn't get a job or whatever. He might still get a job. I can't hate on the kid. I really can't because he actually is a very endearing human being. He's got a good heart. He's not an asshole about it. When it fell apart, you didn't hear him on Twitter whining, bitching, crying, moaning. He went to something he knew, which was still football, working for the SEC network as a caller and commentator. That's fine. More power to him. And he never gave up. He actually hired Tom Brady's personal coach as his coach to help him get better.
Gruden. Hired Gruden, too.
Yeah. And, of course, Tom Brady's coach says he's doing fantastic, but if I was paying JD money, he would probably tell you that I was fantastic as well. So there's that. But I'm happy. You know what? I honestly hope he gets brought on to Philadelphia as the second quarterback because that would throw me into no end. It really would.
I saw like about a 30-minute film they had on YouTube of him working out. Tell you what, I mean, he may not have the best. I have a lot of respect for Tebow in this regard. He doesn't just walk on and think, I believe in God, therefore I deserve what he works his freaking ass off.
Yes, he does.
For a quarterback, to hit the gym the way he hits the gym. I mean, I played football, and I'm not going to throw a name out here, but the quarterback when I played was a name guy, and my God, did he not hit the word? He would literally lay on the bench, and he would wait till coach was looking to do bench press. Yeah. So after viewing that, and after seeing other quarterbacks as I was a coach, and how I don't want to say lazy because some quarterbacks did work hard, but just how hard he hits the gym and how he just tries to outwork everyone. I think that is just something. I'm going to get on Tebow rant for 5 seconds.
He can be molded.
I think he absolutely can be molded. Everyone always says bad things about Tebow. Not everyone, just certain people in the media. Certain people.
Most people in the media. Everyone likes to hate on that kid.
My point of that is, as a starter, the team was 1-4 when he started. We took over the starting lineup. He went 7-4 the rest of the season, and everyone says he can't throw. Yet he has the highest QBR in the league in the fourth quarter of football games. He had a lot of games where he had a lot of yards.
He won a playoff game from the bench.
No, he didn't. Wasn't from the bench. He started.
Well, he started, but I mean, he come off as the second quarterback and won a playoff game. And not just any playoff game, playing a damn good Steelers team.
He started that game.
I'm just saying, but that he didn't start that season. He came off the bench that season.
Okay, now I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, that defense was just stellar that year. The defense was like the greatest defense in the history of the world."
It was the Broncos defense. Come on, kids.
No. That defense was okay.
Are we talking about the Broncos season or are we talking about the Jets season?
That's the Broncos season.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos, okay,
they've never had a stellar defense.
I'm going to tell you, give you a little heads up on the Broncos, give you a little bit of enlightenment on that Broncos defense. If the defense was so good, and Tebow was so bad, why were they 1-4 prior to Tebow starting? And they were, efficiency-wise, like 28th in the league. I want to look that up because Skip Bayless spews out all these stats all the time. So I just take his word for it. But they were 28th worst defense in the league.
Skip's a stat guy, though.
He is a stat guy. And 28th worst defense in the league. Now, what was the big change between Game 5 and Game 6? Tim Tebow. Now, maybe the defense stepped up because if you listen to one guy, he'll say, well, defense stepped up because they knew that if they didn't do that, they were going to beat like 30-0 because Tebow can't throw the football and they can't do anything offensively. Wrong. Tebow stepped up and inspires his teammates. That's the thing that I think a lot of people miss about Tim Tebow. He is a huge inspirational leader amongst men and young men. If you go in the locker room, no one ever bitches about him being there. He's never had a locker room issue with anyone.
He's a good kid.
He went to Jets, and they loved him. He would go in there, and he would be just hitting the weights with the linebackers and shit. You know how crazy it is that the quarterback works out with linebackers and stuff?
The guys in the Patriots locker room loved him, too.
Yeah,
the people in the front office didn't, but...
I would venture to say that Bill Belichick had more time with him. Bill Belichick could find a way to make him successful.
Well,
he's that intelligent. Okay. He's that good a coach.
The one downfall to Tim Tebow,
it's circus. It's the circus that comes with it.
Well, actually, there's 3 things I want to talk about there. The first thing that I love about Tim Tebow, and this is a quote from his when he was coming out of college, I think it was right when he was coming out of college and going to the NFL. And they asked him about his work ethic, and he goes, I was taught that you work as hard at your job as you would if God was your boss. And I absolutely love that. I think if we all worked at our jobs as if God was our boss, we'd probably all be a lot better at what we do every day. That's a given.
Better place too.
Well, and not even the spirituality aspect of it, but I mean, if you knew that the guy who was your boss actually was all-seeing, all-knowing, and all-powerful, you'd probably get that sale done. You'd probably clean the fryer a little bit better. You just would. See, and I love that about him. His work ethic is great. Now, the downside is the circus that comes with him. If you get Tim Tebow in your locker room,
because he's a polarizing figure. That's the thing, though.
Well, you will literally have every camera from every sports network.
And honestly, that's not his fault. He can't help it. He can't help that it's his fault.
But he's so polarizing because I'm
stealing that.
He's so good. He's such. I mean, not like a good player or anything, but he's just a good quality.
Hate him like as a character.
He's a good quality human being. And you don't find that in the NFL too often anymore. You really don't. I mean, some of these guys are really endearing. Russell Wilson is a very endearing, very good dude. But you don't hear him talk about his spirituality a whole lot. This is Tim Tebow. I believe in Jesus Christ, the one Lord and Savior, on down the line. And people are like, what? And you play in the NFL?
The reason why Tim Tebow is he's a special character is because even though people that hate him like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only reason you don't hate him because of who he is. You hate him because maybe you don't think what he does is as good as how someone else does it. But you like who he is. He's a guy that everyone loves and hates at the same time. I love him altogether. I have no issue. I think he can throw the ball when he needs to. I just don't think that the way he's just been so conditioned to run an offense a certain way that the NFL offense doesn't commute to him to be logical because it's too slow. He likes to read the defense. He likes keeping the defense reacting to him. I think he's a momentum player. He's like a running back.
If he would have stayed in Denver and spent a few years behind Peyton Manning as his coach.
See, here's the funny thing about that. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you a funny story about that.
If he would have stayed in Denver and had Peyton Manning as his coach, boss, mentor, whatever you want to call it, for a few years, which we're all well aware of the fact that Peyton's maybe got 2 years left this year, maybe next. Depends on whether or not he wins the Super Bowl. He's going to Elway out. I'm going to tell you that right now. Peyton Manning's going to Elway out. Mark my words, it's going to happen. I don't care, but it's going to happen. I think that would have done him justice, and I think the problem with the Jets was they brought him in thinking headlines, news, one thing, and this guy just wins games. He just wins games. We don't have to do a whole lot. He can just win games. You can't do that to that kid. You really can't, because second year in the league, sorry, you're still a kid. Yeah. You haven't earned your chops yet. Yes, you won a playoff game, and you did it in a season that you really didn't have a whole lot to work with. But you can't put it all on the kid to do it himself. And you didn't help him, New York. You didn't help him at all. You didn't give him jack shit to work with, and you expected him to do it.
Well, they did have Demaryius Thomas. But that was before Demaryius Thomas was Demaryius Thomas.
In New York?
No. In New York, he never got a chance to play.
No, New York, he had a chance to play. He never played for the Patriots. I thought he played.
He would play at a time. Yeah. He would run the Wildcat for a play.
But they just expected him to just come in and do it.
No, they didn't let him throw though. They he just hike it and just run straight ahead. It's pretty much what the play was.
Denver took the handcuffs off of him. They were like, well.
No, they handcuffed him big. They didn't let him throw to the fourth quarter.
No, they didn't. You're right.
They didn't really let him throw. Now, a glaring stat, and this is the thing about Denver. Tim Tebow goes 7-4 as a starter, gets in the playoffs, beats Pittsburgh. Gets 316 passing yards. I think he had three passing touchdowns.
On what, the second or third play in overtime? He beat him.
First play.
Was it
he had kickoff and then next play.
Yeah, it was first play. You're right.
Kickoff, next play. 80-yard touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas.
Took the handcuffs off.
The safety played too shallow, and they put the slant right behind the safety. Yeah, I remember that because I remember watching it, and every Steeler fan I know was just crying, like, why don't we get another possession? It's not fair.
I wasn't crying about it, but they kicked off the ball at overtime. We're like, oh, the way this game's going, they're going to play the entire 15 minutes. So we all went out to smoke a cigarette, and then we heard screaming from inside of the dealership. Yes, we were watching this game at a dealership. Don't judge. And we came back inside and they're like, game over, man. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And they're like, Tebow happened. And I'm like,
an 80-yard touchdown pass.
Told you. It could happen.
It's awesome. And then he loses to the Patriots. The big reason why he didn't have a running back. I think whoever was his running back the week before got injured.
Yeah, and
Decker was out. Decker blew out his knee that game.
Well, he had a vague recollection of what a defense should be.
Yeah, because the Patriots torched that defense. That was the year. Was that the year
they crushed them?
Yeah,
it wasn't even a game. Yeah, it wasn't even a game.
If you look back that year, they played the Steelers earlier that season, or not Steelers, Patriots.
Yeah,
they were right with the Patriots point for points until the second half. First two possessions, Tim Tebow, bang, 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 right down the field, 7-0. Tom Brady comes back and scores. Tim Tebow, bang, 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 runs in for a touchdown. 14-7. They score a touchdown. Next possession, interception, or not interception, fumble. Fumble in the backfield, they get another touchdown out of it. Next possession, throws the ball to Demarius Thomas. I remember this vividly because I remember ranting about this because people were dishing him on Facebook. Next possession, and you know them, they have to run the football. They have to run the football, to be honest. They were the best running attack that year. They had the best rushing game that year.
Who did?
The Denver.
Yeah.
Very next possession after they fumble in the backfield with, I think it was Willis McGahee. It wasn't O'Shawn Moran.
No, Sean didn't come on until later.
I think it was Willis McGahee, is my guess. I think he might have been second back, Marino. Or he might have been drafted that year. I don't remember.
I think he was drafted that year.
Or he might have been injured.
He's only been in. This is his third year.
That's only 3. Why would they let him go then? When you're drafted, you get like a 4-year contract at least with
not always. Sometimes
we get options.
It depends on how far down in the draft he was.
Well,
whatever. It has nothing
to say. All I'm saying is he didn't really have much to work with other than Eric Decker and Demarius Thomas. And actually, right before they started him as quarterback, they got rid of the third passing option, which was Eddie Royal. And they traded him to San Diego. So there's a lot of things that they did to not help him be successful.
Yeah.
And then the next year, and this is what my full circling on Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, yeah, he does do a little bit better, but he has the same exact playoff record as Tim Tebow. He wins 1, he loses 1. And I'm not trying to be condescending, but it's very ironic that he has the same winning percentage as Peyton Manning. He's 500 in playoffs. Think about it. He is 500 in the playoffs. He's 1-1. Peyton Manning is 13-13. He has more playoff wins than I can go through a lot of starters. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, quarterback for Cincinnati, the Red Rifle. Andy Dalton. And prior to last season, he had the same amount of playoff wins as Tony Romo. I think Phil Rivers has a little bit more, so I'm not going to throw his name in there. Phil. Alex Smith has 1 playoff victory. No, he has 2. No, 1, 2, 1. He has 1 because he won the division. Then he had the game after the division game or the wild card game. Then he got the one to the NFC Championship. Yeah, he has 1. He has 1 playoff victory. Okay. He wasn't starting quarterback whenever they won the Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick was.
Yeah, he came from the bench.
Yeah, he was on the bench. So I could probably name more, but off the top of my head, I mean, Jake Locker, Christian Ponder, Zach Mettenberger. There's 3 on one team who they could probably use Tim Tebow and be a little bit better. Sam Bradford, Nick Foles has 1 playoff victory.
I like that.
No, actually, he doesn't have any playoff victories.
He has no playoff victory.
They lost to Seattle.
Yeah. Well, and then this year he was injured, and it was Mark Sanchez. So
yeah. So there's a bunch of quarterbacks.
The last 18 minutes and 5 seconds of this is exactly why people don't want 50 people on their team, is because we just like no.
But it's a point that I needed to make personally, because that way we can reference it. We can say, hey, podcast 17. If you want to know what I think of Tim Tebow, go to podcast 17 and watch.
Okay, the point about Tim Tebow is honestly, if I had a way of getting in contact with him, I could invite him to sit here and do this, and minus the vulgarity, and probably ask us to tone it down a little bit. He would sit here with us and do it out of the goodness of his heart, because he's actually a decent individual. So while we're on the subject of Tim Tebow,
well, I'm going to throw this out there. He would also do it for our purpose, because we said a long time ago, if we ever started making money off of this,
charity,
a third of it would go to charity.
I thought we decided it was 50, and then we split it 25-25.
That's right. Okay, yeah. I thought a third because it was 3 parts, but yeah, 50.
Yeah, 50 goes to charity, then we split the other half.
If we ever started making money off this, so tell your friends. I was thinking St. Jude's Children's Hospital would be the first one.
St. Jude's is good. I got to go with the SMA Association of America, but that's
SMA.
Spinal muscle.
We still got to do Angels for Angels. We never got a chance to do that.
I'm out of snow. I'm gonna have to do it in the gravel.
Might have to. Angels for Angels, we're kind of doing something like the Ice Bucket Challenge, but instead you gotta make an angel, and it's for Angels for Little Angels. You make an angel and you donate money to children's hospital.
Whatever charity for children.
Yes.
Doesn't really matter what it is, but as long as it's for kids, that's the big deal.
Angels for Little Angels, for kids who have died. That's what we're basically doing it for. And
organizations that help those families or help those children that are in ICUs right now. Another good one to check out, since we're doing this right now, would be Heroes for Hire. They're actually out of West Virginia. It's a really good thing. A dude goes around dressed up like Batman, and he's got a whole other cast of people that help him out. That dress up as other superheroes, and they visit sick kids in hospitals and try to make their dreams come true. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, there's one on Facebook where those guys, I think it was those guys.
It is Heroes for
They
Hire.
dressed up like superheroes and they were cleaning all the windows outside all the kids' rooms. So that was pretty cool.
No, that wasn't that out of the organization. There's another organization doing it because that was in either New York or Seattle that was being done. These guys, at the request, or Heroes for Hire at the request of the family, actually carried a little one to the grave in costume without their masks because they didn't want the little one to ever see their face to actually know who they are. But since he was gone, they took off their masks to carry him. And it is probably one of the most touching photos I've ever seen in my life. It's usually on my phone, but it's in like it's in the computer now. Otherwise, I'd show it to you. But check them out. Heroes for Hire, big business. Love them, love them, love them.
All right.
Oh, and anyway, since we're still technically somewhere around the religious realm, Tim Tebow lives there too. What do you think the best bet for Tim Tebow is? Put him in there, take the handcuffs off of him, see what happens, or does he need the right offensive coordinator?
I think it's a Chip Kelly thing. I think remember how I said last week that or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, DeMarco Murray and most running backs are momentum players.
Yeah.
Once they get going, you can't stop them. I think that's what Tim Tebow is.
But
if you think about it, when he starts throwing in the fourth quarter, when his team's down, you can't stop him. He just gets going, and you can't stop him. He gets highly accurate. He gets in the zone, and you just can't stop him.
But do you just let him go from day one and be like, okay, this is your offense, run it however you want, but I'm going to shoot I'm going to shoot you in 5 plays. You make your decision. Or is it if you put him with the right offensive coordinator that would let him pull the trigger?
I don't want to get too much into this right now. But if you know the offense that Chip Kelly runs, it's based on, okay, imagine a single back set, shotgun quarterback or pistol quarterback, whichever one you want to call it. Wide receiver, maybe a tight end on one side and a flanker on the other side. Okay, so you got twins on one side, maybe a tight end and another split out. Okay, imagine that. It's all based on the numbers and based on the read of what the defense does. Example, if I'm a quarterback and I turn a hand here, I'm reading what the defensive end does, and I'm counting the numbers here. If the numbers say 6 or less in the box, I hand the ball off because he's counting the number of defenders and number of blockers he has.
Yeah.
And if the defensive end stays or crashes, if he stays, that's one of the 6. So now you have 5-on-5 blocking zone scheme. You run right off the edge and you're fine because you have 1-on-1 blocking. Okay.
If he
bites, that's 6-on-5. Now you can still hand it off because you can trust your running back to run and outrun the defensive end, but you're also taking away your cutback lane if you do that. Now if he stays, you have a cutback lane. That's the upside to handing it off and him staying there. If you count the 6 and he crashes, the quarterback can pull it because now there's no one to protect the edge.
So now
you can run it. Now you also have the other option where you might have one of your wings or whatever might loop around, and one guy's taking off. So if that linebacker comes up, you hit the loop receiver, and what he's going to do is literally going to loop like out in the flat.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's a screen.
Mm-hmm.
So the linebacker plays the screen, like he's going for a screen, like he's going to go tackle him.
Mm-hmm.
The running back has like 10 or 15 yards before someone tackles him. Safety comes up. If the linebacker comes up and a corner plays that, now you're going to hit the guy running straight down the field. There's a lot of options out of this.
Yeah.
And that's now for 7 in the box, you're going to pass it regardless because you got 1-on-1 coverage on the edges. There's a lot of things. It's very complicated. And that's why it's.
Okay, what does that have to do with it having to be Tim Tebow then?
Because Tim Tebow will read that and he's very good at making decisions on the read. And it's easier for most quarterbacks will drop back and they have to read the coverage and then decide. This takes away a lot of the decision making because you go from this to this, from this, hand the ball off, you're done. This, fake it, and throw it. It makes your reads a lot simpler, but also changes the mentality of the defense to wait to see what the offense does, then react.
Yeah.
And if you have them doing that, you win because you're not firing off the ball. You ever heard this mentality that if I were to draw a play up on a board and you're the defense and I draw the blocking scheme or whatever and I hand you the pin, you're going to win every time? You ever heard that?
Yeah.
That's true because let's say I'm a quarterback, okay, we're running I formation, I say Hutton hand the ball off to my tailback. Already we're down 2 players because I hand the ball off as a quarterback. I'm not blocking, and the running back is not blocking. Okay. Let's say you have a split in out of the play. He's not blocking.
He's trying to run.
So you have 3 guys out of the play. So already you're outnumbered. Or let's say it takes the corner out too. So you have 10 down 10-8. This offense. So now you're already down players when it comes to blocking. That's the point of this offense is because you're down, you're eliminating their advantage by making them sit on their heels and wait for you to do something and then react.
Okay.
So does that make sense or no?
That was a little long and drawn out for me.
Basically, let's say they bull rush every play. If they bull rush every play, trying to get that running back or trying to get the running back every play, and Tim Tebow pulls it and runs 10 yards every time. Why do you think Russell Wilson's so effective and Marshawn Lynch is so good? Because they can't do that anymore. That's why RG3 was so good his rookie year, because they can't just blitz heavy off the edges. Because if you do that and you guess wrong, you're screwed on the back end.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. I didn't mean to get into a whole. Sorry, internet. I know.
He went into 3 or 4.
I know the X's and O's of football. I want to coach high school football, so and I've explained this is what I want to do with Southern.
I'm a Monday morning quarterback, so
that's what I want to do with. Me and Mike have talked about that. I want to do that with high school football at Southern.
I could be like a Tuesday morning quarterback since they.
On a Tuesday. Anyway. All right. What's you want to get on football right now?
Do we have anything else?
That's it. Oh, Greg Hardy got signed. We were waiting on the confirmation of that.
Yeah, the funny thing was there was a blurb right before we started this on ESPN about how Tampa Bay said they were declining at this time, and it had nothing to do with his personal record. What, are you stupid? I mean, I'm well aware of the fact that he was technically exonerated because at the appeal.
Did you hear the woman's testimony?
At the appeal for the jury trial, she never showed up.
I understand that, but she gave a testimony for the judge trial,
She gave an initial testimony. For the judge trial, she did. And it definitely
did you hear what she said?
It did not paint a very pretty picture.
No, it did not.
However, she didn't show up. And I don't know. You could read that however you want. I mean, I've seen enough mob movies to know when a witness has been talked to. So it is what it is. I could understand Tampa Bay passing on that, but they would really have to do a more convincing argument than it has nothing to do with his personal record, because as soon as you say that, that's the first thing that I think is it has something to do with his personal record. You could just honestly have come out and be like, well, after looking at his numbers from last season, they just weren't what we were looking for. And that's complete bullshit. It is. I know it's complete bullshit, but it would have been a better argument than what they started. But Dallas has a history of taking in Lost Boys, so we'll see how that goes.
That's true. Okay. I personally don't think anyone should pick them up this year. I wanted the Redskins too, but
let him.
I kind of like the fact that Redskins said no.
Let him see if he works out. Let's see if he.
For all we know, they invest a lot of money in him, and he beats up his girlfriend again.
But
he's gone, and the Redskins have to deal with him.
But this way, it gives him a year to keep his nose clean, work out, hit the bench, get back up into football shape if he's out of it. Whatever. He's probably still in it. But
the thing about defensive linemen is
you gotta let things cool off.
No, well, the thing about defensive lineman and offensive lineman, you just got to make sure your strength's up to par. Strength and conditioning, that's it. You got to make sure you can run 10 yards every 30 seconds and not be tired from it. That's honestly, that is football shape.
That's the job.
That is football shape, yes or no? That's football shape. So, all right, we'll jump to Flash here. This week's Flash was such a good episode.
Oh my God, they really.
I've never had this many topics from one episode or something.
Like 3 weeks they gave us off, and then they came back and honestly gave us 3 weeks worth of episodes in one episode.
Yeah. First thing, Barry and Iris, they're a little flirty back and forth, and
they really pumped that up this week. Like it was always something going on in the backdrop whenever those two were together and Eddie was around, or Lisa, whatever the hell her name is, was around.
Yeah.
Now, like this week, they're like, let's put it on 11, see what happens. And they did a fantastic job. The bowling alley scene is still one of my favorites.
Yeah. I liked it too.
Her wiping the knot or ketchup or whatever the hell it was off his cheek. The only thing that would have made, or the corner of his mouth, the only thing that would have made it better is if she would have like licked it when she was done, because that would have been like, what?
And I said it was funny if I had a boner, and he just had the bowling. He just like, just put the bowling ball right over his crotch.
Because he's the Flash, he can do that.
Bowling balls like sex. Mystery holes.
They do.
Bowling balls are like sex. There's 3 holes. Well, straight sex. Heterosexual sex. Let me phrase that. We're fans of the Shocker.
Go Wichita.
Go Wichita State. Woo! Okay. All right. Iris finds out that Barry is the Flash. I'm really going to be curious on how she reacts to that next episode. Because like Barry, well, actually, we might not even get to see a reaction.
Wait a minute, did the bowling alley scene happen before or after?
After.
So so all the flirtation will remain as part.
Yeah,
of it.
because he was running to that crime scene.
Yeah,
and he saw the other one.
Yeah, so. And he saw the other him looking at him like, what the fuck is going on, man?
And so we're going to be curious to see if all this stuff still plays out.
It'll all be completely undone. It'll be like the next episode will be the Days of Future Past episode.
Yeah,
that'll fix.
I really wonder if he's conscious of all that happened. Because remember,
why wouldn't he be? He should remember
come
that.
out. It in the beginning of the episode when he ran through there, he was surprised at what he was seeing. You'd think he would have known in that moment what had happened before.
What, at the end of the episode where he looked to his left and saw himself running there?
He was right. Oh yeah, left, but and then he's back to his old body.
Past Barry was on the left, future Barry was on the right.
Okay, but what it looked like is that they merged into that moment. That's when he stopped, and the woman's like, "Really, Tex? I'm gonna be late." And then the guy's throwing the sign, and there's dogs over here or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah, I know that, but Barry still made it to his destination, did he not? In the original timeline before he went, or whilst he was going back time. So I don't think they merged, but I think we now actually have 2 coexisting Barrys right now.
We'll see. We will see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Anything that happened this week will be undone next week.
Oh, God. Crazy.
Which sucks because Cisco got killed.
Not that I wanted
Cisco to die, but it's like you build up to a major character moment like that, and then you're like, by the way, that didn't happen at all. By the way, that didn't happen at all. Which is fun. That's why superhero shows are so much fun, because you can just do that and it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that in NCIS or CSI.
That's true. You're
no fun at all.
Absolutely correct about that. So we have two more things: Spartacus and Wells. Ian McIntyre, the guy who played Spartacus, the second actor who played Spartacus.
Yeah, we like the first guy better.
We do, but I don't think he didn't step in and do bad. He didn't do bad.
No, he had some big shoes to fill. He did what he could.
And, the material was good too, so that helped.
After they got past the violent pornography after the 4th episode.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that.
By the way, Laura loved that show. She has a thing for fixes. Yeah, she has a thing for fixes.
Here's funny. A buddy of mine.
Here's funny.
Well, it's not really funny, but how we introduce people to things that we love. A buddy of mine, the Moose, his girlfriend had never seen Game of Thrones. I just so happen to have all 4 seasons on Blu-ray. Huh? I know you do, but I had all 4 seasons on Blu-ray because I'm just I like to rewatch this stuff. It's very interesting. So now those are currently being loaned out so he can introduce her to the glory that is Game of Thrones. And this is a guy so dedicated to the cause that he will not bootleg it. He will not pay for HBO to watch it. But every time it comes out, I can guarantee you the day after it comes out, I get a text message. Hey, did you pick it up yet? Because he knows I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray every year. So it's just funny how you introduced me to Spartacus and Game of Thrones. Then it goes on to the next person, just like you have now introduced Lord to Spartacus.
I've introduced her to all my shows.
Yeah, but it's funny just the way it spreads like that every
Arrow,
time.
Flash. She's caught up on Arrow. She's caught up on Flash. She wants me to come over tonight and watch Arrow at 8. So I think I'm going to do that.
Oh. Watching it live.
Flash.
You'll be watching it when I watch it.
That'll be the first time I watch it on TV, too. I watched Flash on TV. I've never watched Arrow on TV.
Commercials will allow you time to pee if
you have to. I can hold it. So I have, Flash, Arrow, Spartacus. She was watching Game of Thrones long before I suggested it to her, so I can't take credit for that one.
No,
Vikings. She loves the Vikings. She's Scandinavian, so.
I've tried. I just can't
it's
do
it. It's a good show.
I know. I don't know. It's just not my tried.
What else have I suggested to her?
Probably if it was on any other channel other than the History Channel.
Why?
Dude, I don't know. I tried. I watched like most of the first season. It just didn't
I started a new show you might be interested in.
reel me in at
Does
all.
Revolutionary War tickle your fancy?
What are you watching? Outlander?
Called Turn.
Oh, is that on Stars?
No, Turn was on AMC.
Is it on AMC?
Yeah.
I might check it out. I was thinking about it.
I just started like the first episode like 5 minutes in. I didn't get a chance to really watch it. So.
And technically, for the record, you didn't introduce me to Arrow. I wanted to see Arrow. You just provided me with the means of being able to see it because at the time.
The first 3 seasons.
Well, but no, I told you when we had this discussion that it was something I wanted to watch, but I didn't have the CW on my satellite for whatever fucking reason. And then all of a sudden it appeared
I gave you
day.
a persuasive push. Let's put it. Can we put
I've
it that
always
way?
loved Arrow.
Can I word it that way? I gave you a persuasive nudge. I nudged you in that direction.
I've loved Arrow.
In the watching it.
No,
I reassured
I really wanted to watch it. You backed up my affirmations that I was going to love it.
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to give you on that one.
That's
Because
fair.
after Kevin Smith's run on Green Arrow, which I elaborated on at length in more than one podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we going with that?
Were
we still on the Flash?
You were just trying to tell me something funny, but it wasn't funny.
About introducing people to things. Whatever. Anyway.
All right. So Spartacus. He played the Weather Wizard. I don't think
the Weather Wizard.
That's not a good name.
No, it's not a good name. I would say Storm, but that's already like bought and paid for.
Weatherbane.
Spelled correctly, yes. Weather V-A-I-N.
Yes.
Like Bane.
Weatherbane.
Yeah.
That would work. Or Weatherbane. Because he does have vengeance in his heart. Storm Chaser.
Dr. Lightning.
Cloud Man.
Expect a Care Bear to come flying out of his ass.
Care Bear, stare.
Don't be listening.
Huh?
Their first movie wasn't that bad.
Their show wasn't bad. All this. Okay, so I thought he did great. It's another example of characters from that show showing up on CW. You have now. What do we have now? Him, Crixus, Asher, Mia, cool.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
That's 5. After that,
well, didn't he say one of the writers was a writer on that show, or one of the producers was
the director? One of actually, a handful of the directors. You have different kind of. You have the.
I know how it goes with TV. The same director.
You have you have some directors who will direct the drama part and like the lovey-dovey stuff, and you have another director who will be like the director of like the action scenes.
Yeah.
So there's many different ones that you're gonna have. So that is like you have a director for certain episodes because they're based on certain things.
Yeah.
Like you may have one director. There's like if there's a fight scene on a train or something. You have one guy who specializes in that kind of direction on how you're supposed to react whenever you're doing stuff on top of a train, whatever. There's certain things like that. You can, if you actually look it up on IMDb. Words are hard. IMDb.
Internet Movie Database.
Internet Movie Database. If you look it up on there, you can actually see all the different directors and which ones they do. So that's why it's like that.
Well, and then you go into their filmography and it shows you what else they've directed.
And that's how I found the link between that and Spartacus. Now the reason why I think it originally happened that it's all connected is because the guy who plays Spartacus. What's his name?
You just said it.
No, I didn't. No, not the guy who plays Spartacus. The guy who plays Arrow. What? Or Oliver.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
I can't think of his name right now, but he initially tried out for Spartacus after Andy Whitfield died. So I don't know if the director thought of him immediately, and he's just been. I know that's how Crixus got along because him and Crixus are actually friends. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. And you want to know a little bit of an Easter egg is. The guy who plays Spartacus, Ian McIntyre, he is like one of the front runners to be the Flash in the movies.
Seriously?
Yeah, he was supposed to be one of the, or he was supposed to be. I don't know if he is or isn't now, but
Steven
Stephen Amell, yeah. And we still haven't seen Nightwing yet. We haven't seen Nightwing.
It's gonna happen.
Maybe it's tonight.
You really think it's gonna be tonight?
That's gonna be interesting. Oh, one of the main characters is going to die on Arrow this season. My guess is Arsenal. They're showing too much of his emotions.
But he's not near as Dawson's Creek as, well, any girl.
Well, I mean,
Felicity.
If they keep letting his story go, it's going to get very dark very quick. Because he was a cocaine addict, heroin addict, an alcoholic. He started actually when Oliver gets a lot of his money back. He starts putting a lot of his money into prostitutes and banging prostitutes. So his story can get very dark very quick if they go that way with his original story. So
they should just do that. Let that story play itself out.
I agree with you. I think it's part of the story. They need to play it out. But
by the end of this season or within the beginning of next season?
I don't know. I just know that there's a thing they've been talking about where Stephen Amell's like Twitter account, there's like pictures of like a handful of them doing like a scene and like goodbyes are always hard and like or something like that, and they're talking about now whether that means like a character is gone from the show for good, whether it's just
nothing's permanent in the comic world.
I know, and apparently they're bringing Sarah back for remember the show with Adam and Firestorm I was telling you about?
I thought she was dead.
Apparently
nothing's permanent in the comic world.
Here's what's going to happen. Apparently, it's going to happen is Oliver is going to agree to be Ra's al Ghul.
That's tonight, kids.
Could
be sure to watch at 8 o'clock
to bring back Sarah. To use the Lazarus Pit to bring her back.
Okay.
You can use
that's what it's there for.
You can never.
That's the whole you
can't. You. We'll see.
I mean, that's apparently what they did to one of the Robins, according to Under the Red Hood.
That is what they did to one of the Robins. Funny story about that. You remember? Okay, you know Leah Thompson, the girl, or not Leah Thompson, Tompkins, the girl who is you keep telling me is Batman's doctor.
Leslie.
Yes, Leslie Tompkins. Leslie or Leah?
Leslie.
Okay. We and you were going back and forth about that. I read an excerpt from one of the comics where she actually has to put Batman in his place a couple times. Yeah. I wonder if that's ever going to happen. Because in the comic books, Batman always has like a sidekick, like Robin, but he's also like a kid. He's like a teenager. I guess his thought process, if it's an adult can turn against him, or he doesn't trust adults. I have no idea. But
would you like to know the real reason behind that always being a teenage boy usually?
You think he's gay?
No, okay. That was in order to get younger readers involved. Okay. That was deployed by DC at the beginning with the younger Robin. Well, to keep a younger audience.
In the darker comic books, Robin would always get injured and she'd have to fix him. And she got tired of it at one point and she injected him with. It didn't kill him. It made his heartbeat very faint, like the one heartbeat like a minute.
Oh, that blowfish bullshit.
Yeah. And she was trying to teach him a lesson that you can't exploit kids this way. And I hope that she stays in the story because that'd be a great storyline that a lot of people would hate to see, but it would just. Remember that scene?
We're probably like 3-4 years away from Gotham.
Remember Walking Dead when you said that scene where that little girl had to get shot because she killed her sister. So she's gonna come back. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's one of those scenes like you don't want to see it, but it had to be done. And the fact that you saw it, you can't unsee it, and it's just in your mind. You understand it. But
AMC continually blows my mind with the writing on that show.
That's what turns AMC. So that's why I was really intrigued on what. Like, look at Breaking Bad. Where did AMC come out of nowhere with great TV shows all of a sudden?
They took risks.
Better Call Saul is another good one. Apparently, Better Call Saul is pretty good.
I haven't gotten into that yet. But, they're willing to take risks. I mean, the number one
Walking Dead, Breaking Bad.
The number one thing they did with Walking Dead is they marketed it to a proper audience. They didn't blow up TV with it. You didn't see a lot of advertisements for it. But if you walked into a Spencer's or a Hot Topic, boom, there it was. Advertisement for that show. They knew what audience they had to hit. You walked into even a music store, which nobody goes to anymore. I do because I like vinyl. Fuck you. Don't judge. Even there, they had advertisements for it. But they marketed to the proper audience. And after that proper audience got glued to it, and they're like, actually, this is not just good for us. This is good for a lot of people. And then those friends started talking to their friends, and it blew up social media. And then next thing you know, everybody's watching The Walking Dead. They marketed it perfectly, and they've been doing that ever since. That's how AMC gets their following, is marketing. They know who to talk to. Or at.
I still say at this moment, Breaking Bad is probably the greatest show that's ever been on television to this point. I mean, Game of Thrones, we're not until we see how it finishes. I can't definitively say that. For all I know, the next 3 seasons could be shit. I highly doubt that's gonna happen. But
that's
it could happen. It could happen.
That's
Spartacus could have gone a really bad direction if they had continued that in the first 5 episodes. That show could have been done in 1 season, okay?
It was. I'm sorry. I maintain it was violent pornography up until the plot was finally revealed halfway through the first season.
Yeah.
And then it got really interesting, and then it just got better from there. But anyway,
so
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So I mean, as of now, Game of Thrones looks like it's on pace to be the greatest television show I've ever seen. But as of now, finished shows, Breaking Bad's like the best.
I gotta watch that.
When you see the beginning, the middle, and the end, you see all of it. It's a really good show. You need time. You gotta have to have time to watch it. Just give you that heads up.
Well, I actually for Christmas I bought my mom and dad all the seasons of that. Nice. So it's like sitting right out there. I just need to get.
I saw it all on Netflix. So
I couldn't talk them into that.
Okay. Wells. Let's talk about Wells real quick.
Do you realize how many times we tangented at this point?
Yeah.
It's just
hey,
ridiculous.
We're actually having a good time. 56 minutes, and we have 2 more topics: Wells and Agent of Shield, our brackets, and our top 10. Which we probably take 20 minutes.
You can feel free to go into deep, dark bracketology, but somehow I think our nerd football audience is going to be lost on them. So I say we start with the Sweet 16 and go out. But anyway, Dr. Wells.
Dr. Wells. When you suspected this, we didn't really call it, but I did tell you that he was either somehow related to Eddie.
Well, I was on the fence as to whether or not he was, we're in agreement. We knew he was from the future from day one. We knew that. What his intentions were became clearer as we went on, because at first I'm kind of like, oh, that's got to be Barry from the future. He's there to help him.
I still don't understand this, though. If he's from the future, and he's stuck in the past, we'll time out on that. Because remember that newspaper article we saw in the first episode?
Yeah, but it was.
It said like 2022 or something. 24.
It was within the current lifetime.
Yes, of Barry Allen.
Yeah, but if he's from 200-300 years in the future, he would already have that information.
Maybe. That's true.
He would have all that information, and if he is the antithesis of the Flash, there's nothing you study more than your enemy, because you can't beat him unless you know him. So all that information would have been on deck for him. I mean, they would have to explain whether or not, because at first I thought maybe his power was he could pull newspapers from the future. I don't know. I mean, they were kind of ambiguous about how people were overall affected by the, let's just call it a neutron cloud for lack of a better term, because that's essentially what it was. They were bashed with the anti-protons or whatever. But point of the argument is he's stuck in the past. The only way he can get back to the future is with Barry's help, because apparently Barry's the only person fast enough to get there.
Yeah. I do like the reveal and what's his name figured out. Cisco. It's for the first time this season, this show has thrown us a twist and answered the twist for the most part.
But we kind of knew it was coming. We knew he was going to be a villain. We knew he was going to be a villain at the end of the day. I mean, no one keeps the anti-Flash suit or the reverse Flash suit in a closet and just, here, old friend. Da-da-da. We knew he was going to end up being the villain. We just didn't realize he was going to be from 2-3 centuries in the future. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No. But just kudos to them for
blowing our minds.
Mind's blown. I wanted this. I wish they had like a emoticon. It was like a guy or thing like this.
See, but you know what? I honestly think they should put Arrow first this week and Flash second because I don't think Arrow's going to blow my mind near as much as Flash
You don't
is.
think Arrow's going to top that?
Now I'm expecting Arrow to, and I'm really hoping it does, but I don't think it's going to. So now I'm like on the fence. Like 2 hours from now, I'm going to be watching Arrow and expecting great things.
You're geeked.
And it might not do it for
We're
me.
geeked. We are geeked. For lack of a better term.
Hour and a half from now, my bad. It's 5:28 on the West Coast.
28 East Coast.
Whatever.
You know what I mean. Okay. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, this show just came back on. It's the third episode.
He's in agreement. The first episode of the comeback.
Shit. I originally watched it. I did fall asleep.
Boring. Stop it.
I did fall asleep. I'm not going to argue that point. But the last two episodes have been what we've loved about it. They're having a mission. They got to accomplish it. There's a hiccup on the way somehow.
Sky's development. They're doing a good job with that.
The overthrow of Coulson is kind of interesting to me too.
Yeah, the real Shield. I'm interested to see how they play that out. And the cute part is they have a month and a week to figure that out because damn sure if they don't end the season before Age of Ultron, they better fucking tie it in because Marvel, you have a reputation. You better tie that in somewhere and then have the season ender after that because that would just be
I'm telling you, they're setting it up for the Inhumans. I know you didn't want to. You thought that was stupid, but they are setting it up right now for the Inhumans.
Oh, I know. After this past week's episode, that's exactly what they're doing. I'm not a fan, but I don't write the show. My kid is pissed.
Shit.
What?
I accidentally deleted something on here. I didn't mean to delete. Go ahead.
Was it important?
It was one of my top 10. I have a picture of it, so it's fine. I just didn't have it written down anywhere else.
No, but overall, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you redeemed yourself because after, seriously, 3 weeks ago, you just had me pissed off. That episode was so beyond boring. And I know you had to tie up some loose ends, but seriously, that was just so much crap. I mean, the big thing was at the last 5 minutes when you killed off all of Hydra. That was the big moment. That was the whole thing. You could have done that at the beginning of the episode and then built from there. You'd have been far better off.
Yeah.
But now you're getting back to where you need to go. Just don't overdo it with Sky. Don't overdo it. It's good for her to be there. We like her plot line, but we don't want that to be the dominating factor in the entire series.
You know who the guy if he like says anything, it'll make you pretty much go catatonic?
Yes.
That was Guy's fault.
Okay.
Yeah. If you know Battlestar Galactica, God, that guy was Guy's Baltor. So.
Well, sci-fi people usually stick to sci-fi stuff. I mean, quite honestly.
He hasn't really been in anything lately.
Well, but I mean, let's look at Dr. Leslie Tompkins from Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
Who was also the Queen alien from V, who was also...
in Atlantis. She was in Stargate.
Yeah, she was in Stargate SG-1.
She was in Homeland. She's the voice of a lot of DC characters. Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
From Son of Batman.
Really love that Neil Patrick Harris did the voice of Nightwing and Under the Red Hood. That thrilled me to no end. That made me so happy.
Tonight when I go to my girlfriend's house, I'm going to re-download Atlantis and War for you. Okay. I'm going to get the right quality for you. If you just get a better... If you just got a better Blu-ray player, just plug it in there and it'll be fine.
It was a Black Friday deal for $30. I'm completely happy with it.
Okay. All right. Okay, Chad's bracket. You want to go over your bracket again?
All right, we're going from the Sweet 16 on because otherwise this is just going to be long drawn out.
Okay, you can. I'm not.
You're going to try to get through the whole damn thing.
I will. It's just mainly my upsets.
Fry. This is Michelle Flores. I changed my phone. Okay, never mind.
Who's Fry?
Apparently, I am.
Fry from like
Futurama.
Yeah,
that would make sense. Sort of.
You don't look like him. You have a beard. You look like Fry's great uncle.
You didn't see that episode?
No. What episode?
You didn't see that episode of Futurama?
Which one?
Where they thought Fry was dead, but he was still alive and somehow in the future and he shaved his head and grew a goatee and wooed Leela, and then at the end it was revealed that it was actually Fry. It is a really good.
I think I do remember that one.
It is a really good episode.
I think I do remember that one. Now that you've mentioned it and explained the plot to me, it kind of does sound familiar.
It's a really good one. All right, Kentucky's going to beat Hampton. They're going to beat Cincinnati, and they're going to beat West Virginia. Since you want to do the whole damn thing. Cincinnati is going to lose to Kentucky after they beat Purdue. West Virginia is going to beat Buffalo. They're going to beat Maryland, but they're going to lose to Kentucky. Maryland is going to beat Valparaiso, but they're going to lose to West Virginia.
Valparaiso.
Butler's going to beat Texas, but they're going to lose to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's going to beat Wichita State. Wichita State's going to beat Indiana, and they're going to beat Kansas. Mark that on your calendar. And then they're going to play Kentucky. There's that bracket.
Okay, let me just go through.
I just busted.
Did you just do the mountain?
I just busted the Midwest out.
Midwest. I'll just go and go through mine. Kentucky beating Hampton, Purdue beating Cincy, West Virginia, Maryland both winning their respective games. Butler, Notre Dame winning, Wichita State and Kansas. And I have Kentucky beating Purdue, Maryland beating West Virginia, Notre Dame beating Butler, and Wichita State beating Kansas. That's my upset. So my Sweet 16 out of that one is UK versus MD, or University of Kentucky versus Maryland, and Notre Dame versus Wichita State.
All right, in the West. I got Wisconsin beating Coastal Carolina.
Me too.
Oregon beating Oklahoma State, which that game's a fucking coin flip, so it doesn't even matter.
So 8-9 is awesome.
I have Wofford beating Arkansas, UNC
yeah.
beating Harvard, Xavier beating Ole Miss, and Baylor beating Georgia State.
To be fair in this, I do think Harvard has the capabilities of upsetting UNC.
I don't think they're going to.
But I have Ole Miss beating Xavier, even though Xavier is a very good basketball team.
Okay, I have VCU losing to Ohio State and Arizona beating Texas Southern. Then...
Well, you went and skipped ahead. You didn't do your second round?
I'm going to the second round now. I figured it was easier to follow. Okay, Wisconsin's going to beat Oregon. UNC's going to beat Wofford. Baylor's going to beat Xavier. Mark it down. Ohio State is actually going to beat Arizona. That's my long shot. And Wisconsin's going to beat UNC. Baylor's going to beat Ohio State. And once we get down to that point, it'll be Wisconsin versus Baylor.
Okay, I have Kentucky beating Maryland. And Notre Dame beating Wichita State. And Kentucky versus Notre Dame. Kentucky will win that game, I think, hands down. Then in the West bracket, I have Wisconsin facing Oklahoma State, which Wisconsin will win. UNC will beat Arkansas. Baylor will beat Ole Miss. And Arizona will beat Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State can deal with Arizona's athleticism and their length.
Yeah.
Then I have Wisconsin beating UNC, Arizona beating Baylor, Wisconsin beating Arizona to come out of that bracket into the Final Four. Go to our East, or did you already?
I'll go to the East.
Okay.
I actually have Lafayette beating Villanova. This was based on a dice roll, I might add. I didn't pick this. The dice and fate picked this. I just let it go just to see what would happen. I was curious.
Hold on, I got the odds on mine. Let me see the odds.
Are you taking the odds?
I'm just looking at the odds.
Are you hitting the BPI? Don't hit the BPI. Go with your gut. So I told the wife last night when she picked her bracket. She picked a damn good one. She picked Maryland to win it overall. We'll see.
Why would you pick it? To each your own.
Hey, she went from her gut feeling on each. She actually had the Bearcats going all the way to the end, pretty much.
Bearcats?
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati? Wow.
Yeah, hey.
Hey, wow.
She might know something we don't. She might have the $1 billion bracket, and the rest of us look like fucking idiots. So, fuck that.
Yeah, she wants
one.
If your wife wants $1 billion, my friend,
I'll take it. She can have it. I just want my debt paid. I can give a shit less. She can divorce me after that as long as she's happy. All right, can we go to the East now?
Yeah, go ahead and go to the East.
Okay.
I'll go first. Oh, well, never mind. You go first. You already saying Villanova.
All right. I got Lafayette beating Villanova. I got LSU beating NC State. I have Northern Iowa over Wyoming. I have Louisville over UC Irvine.
Me too.
I have, and this game will not be played till later tonight. Boise Dayton beating Providence. So I don't care who comes out of there. They're beating Providence. Yes. Mark my words. I have Oklahoma beating Albany in this bracket. I chose a more personal bracket where I picked Albany to go all the way, but that's neither here nor there. Michigan State's going to beat Georgia, and Belmont's going to beat Virginia. That was the dice roll.
God damn, that was a bad dice roll, dude.
Hey, the dice roll, how the dice roll, man.
Okay,
I'm in the East.
All mine were the same, other than Michigan State. I have Michigan State beating Georgia, and I have UVA beating Belmont. Now the Elite Eight out of that.
Lafayette over LSU, Northern Iowa over Louisville, Dayton or Boise over Oklahoma. I would like Boise State to do it, but they're not going to. But Dayton has the chance to beat Oklahoma. I think they have a damn good chance of beating Oklahoma, and Michigan State over Belmont.
Okay, I have Nova and Northern Iowa winning, same as him, but I have Oklahoma winning against Boise and Dayton, and then I have Michigan State losing against UVA, and then out of that comes Nova versus Northern Illinois, and I have Nova winning, and I have UVA beating Oklahoma, then UVA beating Nova.
All right, well then, in the final one, I have Iowa beating Lafayette and Michigan State beating Dayton or Boise.
So who do you have winning the game against Iowa and Michigan State?
Northern Iowa.
Who? Yeah, Northern Iowa getting all the way to the Final Four.
The Elite Eight.
What do you have after that? That'd be Final Four. If that's the end of that bracket, that's be Final Four.
Iowa goes to the Final Four, they lose to. But we're not even there yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Haven't done the South.
Woman tits. Woman tits.
Calm your fucking tits.
Calm your fucking tits.
Duke over UNF, RMU, whatever. That's a foregone conclusion. I actually have St. John's beating San Diego State. I have SF Austin beating Utah, Georgetown beating East Washington, Southern Methodist University beating UCLA. Damn it, I love those kids. Iowa State over UAB, Davidson over Iowa, and Gonzaga over Indy State.
I got Duke over whoever. They're going to beat them.
Yeah.
Although, funny story, a couple years ago, Duke was a 2 seed. They got beat by a 15 seed. It could be the first 1 seed to lose.
It could happen.
They do that all the time.
I don't have them losing.
SDSU, as in San Diego State University, will beat St. John's. SFA, I have them upsetting Utah State. Or Utah Utes, or whatever they're called. Number 4, Georgetown will beat Eastern Washington. SMU will beat UCLA. Iowa State will beat UAB, which UAB is not actually a bad basketball team. UCLA, I don't know why you're in the tournament. I don't know why you're in the tournament. A lot of people got snubbed. Murray State got snubbed because you're in a big conference and they're not. Murray State, get on this for a second.
You are ranting.
Murray State won 24 straight games this year, and they're not in the tournament. That's fucked up.
Well,
you gotta admit that's fucked up.
They don't get no love.
They don't get no love.
You ain't in a big conference, you get no love.
Davidson, I have them upsetting Iowa, and I have Gonzaga beating North Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. Every time I play not fantasy basketball, NCAA basketball on Xbox, I really want that team because I want a team called the Jackrabbits. They're good at shooting threes. If they can just shoot threes and stay in the game, they have a chance.
All right. Well, I got Duke beating St. John's.
Me too.
Georgetown beating SF Austin.
Me too.
Iowa State over SMU.
I got SMU winning that.
I don't know. The dice roll came up. I just went with it. Gonzaga beating Davidson.
I got Gonzaga winning that one too.
Who the fuck did Georgetown? Oh, never mind.
Because they beat SFA.
Yeah, I had Georgetown. Okay.
And I have Duke beating Georgetown and Gonzaga beating SMU.
I have Duke beating Georgetown and Gonzaga beating Iowa State.
And I have Gonzaga upsetting
That takes
Duke.
that takes us to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
Okay, I have Notre Dame beating Kentucky for the upset. I have Wisconsin beating Baylor, Northern Iowa beating Michigan, and I'm picking Duke to beat Gonzaga. He differs in opinion on that.
I have University of Kentucky beating Notre Dame. I just think there's too much length in there, and unless Notre Dame is hot from 3, they're not going to win that game. It's a completely different monster, the defense you played in the ACC compared to the athleticism and the defense of the University of Kentucky. You know, Wisconsin narrowly beating Arizona like they did last year. They beat Arizona by, I think, 1 point. They'll do the same thing this year. And then I have Nova versus UVA. I think UVA will win that because UVA is a little better at defense than Villanova is. That is strictly the only reason. If UVA wasn't like number 2 in defense in the country, I wouldn't give them a chance in this game because Nova can score points. But that gives UVA a chance. And I like the University of Virginia, so I'll give I give them a good chance, and I hope they win. And then I have Duke getting upset and beat by Gonzaga. So my final four is University of Kentucky versus Wisconsin, a 1 versus a 1, and UVA versus Gonzaga, a 2 versus a 2.
I got Notre Dame beats Wisconsin and Duke beats Northern Iowa.
I have Wisconsin beating University of Kentucky. I think my reasoning on that, and granted, a lot of this has to play out the way I want it to for Wisconsin to get there, is Wisconsin's offense is predicated perfectly to the style of play that is needed to beat Kentucky. If you watch Kentucky, it's glaring on how to beat them. You gotta have a stretch forward, plays within the hoop, and that way they can't be blocking shots all game.
Did I mention I rolled dice to pick my?
I picked mine off of my basketball knowledge.
I just rolled dice.
And Wisconsin wants a motion offense, a high wide motion offense, 4 wide, guy like high post to low post, and it really opens up the lane. And I don't know if Kentucky can defend very well. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they can defend all that for an entire game. So, and UVA beating Gonzaga. Just think I don't think Gonzaga's been tested. Their conference isn't bad, but their conference is nowhere near as good as the ACC was this year. Then I have Wisconsin beating UVA in a national title game. The total score or combined points of this game will be 112 points. One team will have 62. I think the other team will have 60.
Okay, being is how the odds of anyone actually picking the score after picking the bracket right after it being like 1 and 1.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even bother picking a final score, but Notre Dame's going to beat Duke.
I'm sorry. I meant to say 60 to 52. That's what I think the final score is. 60 to 52.
But that's like one bracket I did, because I did the second bracket where I had Notre Dame doing it, but they played Wichita State all the way out. And I have another one where I actually have Kentucky going all the way. And then in my fourth bracket, I have Wichita State winning it all.
Now, what would I like to see? I would like to see WVU.
Not going to do it.
They're not, but I like to see them upset it. I like to see the Shockers go all the way because they got raw. I would like to see the Shockers. It would not break my heart one bit if the Shockers ended up facing University of Kentucky and being able to spoil their undefeated season with the way Kentucky did it last year. So I would not mind that one darn bit. That would make me super happy. So I do not like Kentucky. I respect John Calipari as a coach, but I don't like what he does to the game of basketball because when you recruit all those guys, you're making your team like on this pedestal.
He's actually a really nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. He's a very good,
very charitable.
He makes 5 or 6 millionaires a year. Can anyone else honestly say that?
No.
Every year he makes 5 or 6 millionaires.
No,
he takes kids from the inner city streets that are from poverty
from nothing
to a millionaire like that.
And he
gives 1 year. And he gives them
the skills they need to survive on that amount of money without going backwards.
And also, you got to also consider this. He's got superstar players, and they are playing like a team.
Not just brings individuals.
No, they're not. They're not. That's been the thing. His past teams have been like that, but they are not individuals on this team. They play very much so like a team. They play very well together. So, but I don't like all the talent on one team. It needs to be diverse. I gotta run an idea by you real quick before we get into our top 10. You know how they're always complaining that okay, you know how there's an issue where they're trying to debate whether kids should go straight from high school to college or high school to pro?
They should never go high school to pro.
In basketball.
Never.
Why?
I think there's
if you're 18,
I think there's something they need to learn, and not necessarily playing the game. Not necessarily playing the game. I mean, LeBron James did it, but he wasn't an idiot. But can you imagine? Let's see. Let's take someone who's a complete fucking idiot. Ray Rice.
He's not a complete idiot. Other than hitting his wife, he's done nothing stupid.
Pac-Man Jones. I don't give a shit. The list of NFL players who have screwed up egregiously because they have money and they don't know what the fuck to do with themselves is beyond understanding. I don't know why. Honestly, you should play 1 year in college, and even if
I'm talking about high school, or I'm talking about basketball.
I am too.
I'm not talking about football. Football, they should play 4 years in high school or college.
No, whatever.
3 to 4.
But point is, you should go to college. And you should go to college for 1 year. And I think it should be mandatory that in that first year of college you take, that you have to take a statistics, an economics, and a financial management class. And if that's the only 3 classes that you have to take because you don't plan on being there that long, you need to take those 3 classes because, quite honestly, kids can come straight out of high school making mad money in the NBA. Now, granted, their limitations are crazy because of their salary cap, and I hope they do bump it up next year because that's just insane what they have to deal with and how limited they are in getting paid.
I got a question.
But I really think that's what they need. They need to understand how money works because I said this before and I'll say it again. There is no point in being nigger rich. If you look like you got a lot of money, no one's ever going to take you seriously. Yeah. But the guys who have done it right don't look like they make a ton of money. Granted, you'll see LeBron on the playground and he'll be wearing nothing from Nike from head to toe, which of course he is because that's who his company is. But do you see the gold chains? Do you see the super diamond bling all the damn time? No, because he's a professional. He understands the value of
basketball
money.
Is different because basketball is a worldwide sport. So, for example, if you play in America and let's say you get drafted and you don't pan out because you're maybe not as developed as you need to be, you can go play overseas and still get paid about $1 million a year to play basketball.
Well, you can still get out of the D League too.
Well, this is what I was.
You're not going to get paid.
No, you get paid in D League.
You ain't getting paid that much.
You get paid the same contract you have when you're on the pros. You have the same contract. The D League is owned. The D League teams
is owned by the team.
Yeah, so it's literally like a AAA team for baseball. Baseball, we have AAA, AA, and Single A. For the farm system, they call it.
Yeah.
To develop your players. That's what the D League is. Now, the D League. This is the downside of the D League. You only have 2 years on the D League,
and then if you don't pan out, you're done.
Yeah, you're only eligible to play 2 years total.
That's like if you're getting back into that argument that we should have like a minor league NFL, it'll never happen.
No, this is what my idea was. I want to run it by you, and I don't have it ironed out. But this is what my idea was. Let's say you're coming out to college, okay, as a professional, a college or football or basketball player, okay? Just hear me out before you interject, okay? Let's say there's a big defensive end that the team's looking for, and they can draft him. You know how in baseball you can still be in high school and they can draft you? They can draft you and you can still go play college ball. You're still getting your money on the side. And then as soon as you're done playing college ball, they send you right to the D League. Or
the minors.
Yes. Yeah. I thought about this in basketball. What if they treated the college like the minor league? For example, let's say you're the number 1 player in the country, and you're a good player, and the team you're on is not very good at the moment. They don't think bringing you in. Maybe there's like a lot of issues on the team. They don't think bringing you into this kind of environment would be helpful to your nurturing of your basketball personality or skills. Okay, you with me on that? So what they do is you treat the college system like it's your D League or your minor league system. They draft you. They have the rights to you when you decide to leave college or when they decide to pull you up. But you play in college until they see you ready. So you are developing your game. You're still getting money. You don't get the money right away. It gets put in an account. And the second you go pro, you can't go back to college.
It'll never happen.
What?
It'll never happen.
Why not?
Because you're talking about giving somebody money.
What?
You're talking about giving a college.
They don't get it right away.
It doesn't matter. You can put it in an account, allocate it for them. They can't get paid.
No. Here's the thing. The reason why a lot of kids want to go straight to college, straight to the pros, because they need money. Because their families.
Well, isn't there a 1-year rule now in the NBA?
There isn't one. There's a 1-year rule.
Well, that's
the reason why. Just let me finish.
I'm just saying.
The reason why that a lot of kids like to go straight to the pros is because they don't have time for school. If their families doesn't have the money at the moment, and your mom is sick or your family member's sick, and you're tired of living in the ghetto, you want to buy them a house and get them out of there. That's why they want to go pro right away. Now, what you can do is you can do one of 2 things. You can let them go pro. They're going to be overwhelmed by it. They're going to get some money right away, but they're going to spend it on their family. They're going to be out of there before they even know it, and they have nothing to show for it. Or you can let them get the contract. Maybe it's not even a big contract, but you call it a rookie stipend contract, where if you're still in college, you only get this much in account, and maybe it gets diluted to your family rather than to you directly in college.
Yeah.
And you play in college, they got to change the rules. Obviously, it's got to be a cooperation between.
They won't do it. I understand what you're saying, and you have a very good heart about this, and I absolutely love where you're going with it. I really do.
Because you're
mean very
taking
well.
players and you're letting them develop, but you're also getting them what they need. They can get an education, they can get a proper education that they might need while they're in college. Okay, their financial woes are taken care of. They don't have to worry about it. They can focus on getting better at their sport and their craft without the pressure of doing it all at once. And you gradually ease them into the professional basketball ranks. The reason why, in high school you play 28 games. In college, you might play as many as 35. And then you go straight to the pros where you play 82 plus games based on playoffs. And whenever the team decides that they want you to go pro, then you go pro. And it's not on a split moment where I got to decide, well, I need another year to develop, but I need money now. You can gradually do it, and when the team decides they need you and you've developed enough, they can pull you up. And you treat the college system. You can go to any college. Let's say you want to go to your hometown college. You don't have to go to a big college. You can still develop there, and you can learn how to be the man at a small college, carrying the load if that's what they want you to do. You don't have to go to a big name school, and it's going to dilute the talent immensely. If you have a bunch of guys that are drafted before they go into college that go to Kentucky, they're not going to learn how to be the guy. They're not going to develop their game because they're going to get less shots per game. They're going to learn some things. They're going to learn to go team ball. But maybe you dilute the talent a little bit better, and maybe those guys are spread out to more teams. Now, I understand you're saying it'll never happen. It'll have to be a collaboration between the NFL, the NBA, and NCAA to have this kind of work.
Let's talk about a college trying to do the right thing for an individual.
Okay.
Let's talk about that real quick. Because last year, Boise State had an incident to where they had a person that they brought into their program on full scholarship that was homeless. And the NCAA said, you can't do that.
Why?
Because he has no mailing address.
Now
the NCAA is the problem with all of this. That is the ultimate problem. I understand exactly what you're saying. They should be paid, and maybe, just maybe, if it was more than a scholarship, if it was a scholarship plus $10,000 a year, that these kids would A, stay in college and actually get an education, and B, still be able to provide for their upstart families, whether that means taking care of a sick relative or taking care of their girlfriend that they knocked up when they were 17 because they're fucking idiots. It doesn't matter. It could help. It really could. I understand where you're going with it, and you mean very well by your thought process, and I absolutely love it. I really do. I'm not trying to be that condescending. The problem is the NCAA is too busy doing this, and they don't want to share a fucking dime of it.
The other upside to this is you have an issue in the NBA. Let's say you're a 10-year veteran. You're 31 years old. Why should a team sign you to the veteran minimum, which is a couple $1 million a year, when they can just go get a rookie who's a little bit younger, maybe just as athletic as you, but a little bit younger, slightly bit faster, and cheaper? So now you're having your veterans are not getting swooped out of the league as fast. They can have more longevity throughout their career. And you're having this rookie stipend where it doesn't count against your salary cap because the kid's still in college. Once he goes pro, he gets the real contract. Like maybe it's like $100,000 a year that they get put in this bank account and maybe get stifled to his family, or maybe they just work it out based on a case-by-case basis. And you're having veterans that aren't getting shoved out the league so early.
The NBA CBA would argue for the league minimum even for a rookie.
The NBA CBA would benefit from this because you have more players having a longer career making more money. That's the benefit of this.
I understand what you're saying, but it won't.
And you're not bringing kids in that are one and dones. Maybe they're there 2 years and gone. Like, for example, Zach LaVine played 1 year, I think it was UCLA, and now he's in pros, and he has no jump shot. All he can do is this.
Well, apparently somebody thought he was good enough, otherwise they wouldn't have drafted him.
They drafted him.
That's not on him. That's on the team that drafted him
because he's athletic, and they see he has a ceiling. They see he has a big upside. That's what they call it.
Well, if they want to develop him, then that's their problem.
They don't have. That's the issue. They don't have time to develop him. When you're playing an 82-game schedule, you play every other night. You don't have time to take the guy and work on his fundamentals and his mechanics. That's what the benefit of the college game is. You have 30 games prior to like the NCAA tournament, okay, 34 roughly, depending on how deep you go in your conference tournament. And he could have gone if he was in college another 3 years, but had this money on the side, he could be developing his jump shot, and he wouldn't just be a dunker when he comes in the league or an athlete. He could be an athlete who can shoot the jump shot when he's open. He can do a one dribble pull up move with this guy on his heels. He can do these things and develop. You develop better basketball players. No, and I know what you're saying. The NCAA will never agree with that. But you got to understand.
It doesn't matter if you put it in a trust fund, if you put it in a side fund, if you put it in his mother's name, if you put it in anybody's name in his family, he is technically getting paid. And once you
siphon that money gradually to him throughout the year.
It doesn't matter. No matter what you do, as soon as you do that, you open up the door to the NFL, NCAA, which is exactly what the fuck it is, and let's not convolute ourselves on that.
I'm just saying that they need a minor league system, and they could actually give kids what they need without having them go all in on it, and that way they don't throw away their future because they need a couple $1 million right now. They can gradually get what they need to have a successful future in case basketball doesn't work out. Let's say they go 4 years in college and basketball is not their thing. They're not who they plan.
I understand.
They get $400,000 and they have enough that they can and they have an education they can use for something else.
Dude, you're arguing your point. You're doing it validly, but I'm not against you. I'm just telling you that as long as, and it has nothing to do with the basketball side of the argument. It really doesn't. It has everything to do with the football side of the argument. And as soon as you open that door and the NCAA and all those universities start losing money to the people that they should be playing to play the game to begin with, they're never going to let that happen.
Okay, again,
it doesn't matter what happens on this side of the field or what happens on this court. It matters what happens on this field because, and I'm sorry, as much as I love this time of year for college basketball, and I love girls college basketball even more, that's besides the point, NCAA football puts money in the pockets of those universities more than the court does.
Yes and no.
It's never going to happen. We're not going to have this argument anymore, but I'm just telling you, I love what you're saying. I enjoy what you're saying, and it's a very eloquent thought, but there's no way in hell that you would ever persuade the NCAA to
do it. Well, the NCAA is the issue. The NCAA just needs to go away.
I would just say, just fucking pay him and call it that. You're playing for Duke.
I don't think they should get paid.
Get paid.
They shouldn't get paid like a professional athlete. That's all I'm saying. They shouldn't get paid like one.
No, they shouldn't get paid that much. But let it be. It shouldn't be. It should be more than a scholarship and a meal ticket.
Yeah.
Give the kid some cash. He needs cash. They're all fucking doing it. They're doing it off the books. The coach is handing $100 bills. Hey guys, you want to go have a good time tonight? Everyone's fucking doing it.
What a lot of kids do actually. A lot of kids just take out, like their parents will take out a student loan. Banking
they'll have it paid off after the fact.
Well, what they'll do is they're banking on their kid's future, so the kid has a little bit extra money. But now, you're putting let's say the kid breaks his leg and he's done. So now the parents have taken out $80,000 in debt, banking on the kid's future, and now the kid has no future.
Pay him money there.
So
I'm all for it.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, top 10. I'll go first. Honorable mentions: Les. I can never say it. Les Miserables. Rocky Horror Picture Show, Fiddler on the Roof, and Gallivant. It's a good Gallivant's TV show. It's pretty funny. It's not bad. It's not bad. Little Shop of Horrors is number 10. Number 9 is Sound of Music, one of the most iconic musicals of all time.
Everybody knows it.
It's great. If you don't know it,
look it up.
It's not a masculine thing. It is. It's good.
It's just good.
I have a lot of respect for musicals because I think it takes a lot more effort to write and to write the music for. And you're not just like filming a movie. You're filming and you're recording and you have music playing and it's all choreographed to be in sync. And it's so much going on and I love it.
Yeah, you kind of got to get that in one take. Otherwise, it's just not.
You have to. And it's so much work to get it to work. West Side Story, modern day or modernized version of
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, the Jets versus the Sharks.
Yeah, love it. Good luck for getting that, kids.
Number 7 is Wicked, probably the greatest musical of the last 10 years. And I have not seen Book of Mormon, to be fair, so I can't comment on that. But that is the greatest musical of the last decade or so, maybe a little further back than that.
It was very good.
12 years, maybe the last 12 years. Number 6 is Rent. I love the modernization of modern problems put into musical form. Like AIDS, gay marriage, drug use, drug addiction. Just they did it very well. I no have no way to explain that, and some people don't like it. I am personally a very big fan of Rent. I thought it was very well done. Number 5 is Glee. It's not exactly a movie, but Glee. First few seasons were good, not so much now. But the point of it is it was a big stand because a lot of schools are cutting budgets for music programs like art, chorus, instruments.
On down the line, they were cutting everything for
theater. Who is it? Galileo or Aristotle said there should be math. The three like the main subjects in school should be math, reading, writing, science, and then music. Should be one. Those would be the. I can't remember all of them. I know music was. He said should be one of the main subjects in school matter. It just learning how to play an instrument is like learning another language, and I think you transition from learning new things easier. Rock of Ages, really good movie.
Love it.
Pitch Perfect, another good movie. I just love the mashups. I love all this.
It was good stuff.
It's great stuff. Number 2, The Producers. I really enjoyed this movie. I have the original and the new. Both of them are good to me. They're both good in their own right. The new one is a little more pizzazz. So I do like it a little bit more.
Do you do that with your jazz hands?
Spirit fingers. And number 1 is the greatest musical in my opinion of all time. It's Grease. No matter what generation you are, whether you're old, whether you're young, whether you're like in your mid-20s and 30s, you will watch Grease and you will always enjoy it. And the songs are so catchy. And I've never met anyone that has watched Grease and said, I hate that movie, I cannot stand it. Even grown men who have a stick up their ass about anything feminist or anything feminine in general.
They'll say it wasn't bad.
And try to overcompensate for their inner gayness or whatever.
It wasn't bad.
Even they'll say it was awesome. So
they'll actually.
Plus Olivia Newton-John at the end in his pants. I mean, seriously, how can you not like that? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I don't have any certain order to mine. I have 10.
I need to throw out an honorable mention.
Another one?
I do, because I respect what Disney was trying to do. Was High School Musical trilogy.
God, I hate
it. It got people to liking musicals again. Not so much. I've always liked musicals, but it got young kids into liking musicals because other than like Disney movies, there's not really that many musicals.
They come out each year.
Yes.
No.
And the one I didn't show in here was Sweeney Todd. That's another good one, but
it's always fun.
I liked it because it showed kids how fun and enjoyable musicals can be.
Not Sweeney Todd. High School Musical.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd.
Elaborate on that. You know what you could be watching Sweeney Todd.
You could. It
could go south.
It's still good. It could go bad.
Depends on what kind of parent you are.
Like Edward Scissorhands.
Don't leave the room. I'll put it to you that way. That could be bad.
Don't eat mud pies either that are made by some crazy woman with the weird hair. God. If Helen Carter ever offers you a mud pie, run.
Go away. Go far, far away. In the basement, and not for any particular reason, Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
I thought that was good. Sound of Music. It's like the preemptive musical. If you ask anyone who the Von Trapp family is, they know.
A deer.
A female deer. Fa la la la.
No, you missed one. Ray, a drop of gold in the sun.
Don't read me.
See, a name I call myself.
A long way to run. Yeah, see, yeah.
So I need a pulling thread.
Yeah, you're not gonna get
I need to pull the sew.
Okay. You know what? I could have added another one in here, but anyway.
What's that?
After that, I have Grease. Love Grease. I was in a production of Grease.
There's a lot more out there actually.
I played Danny.
It wasn't bad.
My Fair Lady.
Hairspray.
With John Travolta or without?
John Travolta was great in it.
He
was
fantastic.
Funny. Actually, you know who John Pinciotti is?
Mm-hmm.
He did it on Broadway. He was that character on Broadway. Yeah, he did great. But anyway, sorry.
Okay.
I'm geeking out. I love musicals, so I know a lot of them. I'm geeking out right now.
My Fair Lady, I've always loved that one. I've always thought it was so much fun to watch.
You've never seen My Fair Lady? If you have it, I will borrow and watch it. Like ASAP. I've just never seen it.
It is really fantastic. Actually, I just thought of another one that's actually pretty good too, but I'll get to that after this. Hudson Hawk, damn it. It's a musical.
Oh, God, I
It's
really
a
just thought of a
stretch.
good one.
It's a stretch as far as musicals go.
Mary
But
Poppins.
Danny Aiello,
How
yeah,
did I miss
I was
that?
going to come back to that.
How did I
Danny
miss that?
Aiello and Bruce Willis singing old classics to that one, the standards. Absolutely.
Singing
love
in
that
the
movie.
Rain.
What?
I can think of a bunch of them now. I'm thinking.
Hold on. Then we got the Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you got rock, you got soul, you got R&B right in there. Both movies, they
John
count.
Belushi
They
and
count. Dan Aykroyd.
yeah.
And then in the second one, it was Dan Aykroyd and John Goodman. Still fun. Still fun. Pitch Perfect. Always fun. Rock of Ages. I'm telling you, I know they auto-tuned the shit out of it, but Tom Cruise singing "Pour Some Sugar on Me" is just. It's just good. It's just a good time.
It's a good time.
It really is. It's just awesome.
It's a good time.
Nothing gay about that. It's just awesome. And after that, I have Oliver and Company, the Disney version. And the only reason that's included and no other Disney cartoon is because I actually went out and got music talent to do the voices in there. You have Billy Joel. You have Bette Midler. And then, swipe them aside, who did the voice of Oliver the Cat? Would you like to chime in on that one? Do you know?
Do I know? I've only seen it once.
Joey Lawrence.
Oh yeah, he did.
Little Joey Lawrence, who eventually had a singing career that wasn't that popular, but whatever. He sang.
Joey Lawrence?
Yeah, Joey Lawrence.
As in the oldest brother?
Like from Blossom.
Joey Lawrence from Brotherly Love.
Joey Lawrence from Blossom, the middle brother in that family that had the curly hair.
That's not Joey. That's Matt.
No, it's Joey. Motherfucker.
How much you want to bet? How much
son
you
of a
want to
bitch.
bet? If it's Joey, Joey's the older because it's Joey, Matt, and the youngest one, Andy.
The one from Blossom.
Hold on. Joey Lawrence.
You're still trying to like fucking upload right here.
Yeah. Any relation to Jennifer Lawrence? I wonder. Him.
Yeah, Joey.
That is the oldest brother. I promise you.
But no, the middle brother from Blossom.
Okay, maybe you're right on that. I've never seen Blossom.
You never watched Blossom?
You said the middle brother, and his three Lawrence brothers:
Yeah, I
Joey,
know
Matthew,
there's
and
three.
Andy.
Yeah, Joey's the oldest.
And Andrew.
Joey's the oldest.
Okay, Matthew is the one he played in. Oh man, you ever seen Angels in the Outfield?
Oh God, it's been forever.
How about Angels in the End Zone?
Yeah, it's been. No, I never even fucking bothered.
Okay, we'll just get a picture of him.
We're not even going to talk about that.
Okay.
Anyway, after Oliver Company, and that's only because they had so much musical talent in that, and it just didn't hire voice actors to do some shit and fake voice actors to sing songs in place of the voice. Disney's crazy when they do that shit. After that, I have the Book of Mormon because I literally walked out of that thing when I saw it in Pittsburgh with my boy, laughing my ass off and singing every stupid ass song there was in it. Like, it was glued to my head for days, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And it was worth the $374 that I paid for the fucking
That's
ticket.
Matthew. That's the middle child.
It looks like he has a disease.
Which one?
All four.
He was awesome. He was in Boy Meets World. He was in Boy Meets World. He was what's his name's older brother? Sean, the trouble one. Yeah, Corey, who was the good one.
You lost me. You've watched more TV than I have.
Okay, and then there's Andy Lawrence. I'm just gonna put that in. Lawrence. Sorry, I used to watch this show. That's how I know these.
You stole Mary Poppins from me.
I love.
Which is a classic with Dick Van Dyke and the whole animated penguins. That was good. And his fake British accent was just so much fun.
Who, Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah, he was faking that Cockney. and it was like, it's so hard to fake a good Cockney.
Man,
I'm sorry.
Now that I've started thinking about it, I can think of a lot of good Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, God, that was so fucking terrible.
That wasn't terrible.
That was terrible.
I enjoyed that movie.
That was terrible. You do realize that was a take on Narnia, correct?
I did not know that.
That was terrible.
Narnia. I wasn't close to take on Narnia.
Have you read all 8 books?
No, I've never read any of the books.
Go back and read The Wizard. You'll
understand. I never read any of them. The Island of November. Oh man, what else is in? What other musicals can we think of before we time out here? Let's give ourselves 2 minutes. Think of some musicals.
I had a couple in my head, and then I just started ranting, and I lost them. You mentioned Rocky Horror, didn't you?
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I had an honorable mention on that.
Yeah, it was.
Just because of what it was. It was different.
It was definitely out of left field.
Oh, yeah. But still good. Still good. Kudos for doing something different. Damn. Yeah, I think a lot of the kids' movies I watch.
We could music ourselves to death.
Well, any Disney movie, really. Like Aladdin.
Technically, yeah. They had music numbers in them, but...
And Lion King.
The only reason I put Oliver and Company above any other one was because they actually cast musicians in it. I mean, come on, fucking Billy Joel.
Yeah, how do you know? Okay, they cast
the voice of Dodger.
Frozen. There was actual like real singers in it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they went out and got Ariana Grande to do the voice of the White Princess.
They got
What's
her name? Oh, who's the Demi Lovato? She plays one of the girls.
You gonna call Demi Lovato a musician?
She gets paid to sing. That's a musician. In my opinion, that's a musician, but I don't know. She gets paid to sing, and she's one of the stupid judges or mentors on what's it called? X Factor.
X Factor.
Damn. I'm trying to think.
See, we were on fire, and then
we have there's some pretty awesome episodes like Family Guy. There's some Family Guy episodes that are musicals. Well, South Park.
Seth MacFarlane's a huge fan. Well, you know what? Quite honestly, we could have put South Park the movie in there.
Oh yeah, I guess it was.
And that would have gone to my top 10.
Kyle's one was the biggest bitch in the whole wide world.
That's good, but that's not the opening number is my favorite. The sun is shining and the grass is green under the 3 feet of snow. I mean, the kind of day it's hard to wear a frown.
You see,
that's just the best.
Don't care.
That's just the best. Absolutely love it. They almost.
Because Terrence and Tip Phillips are sweet.
They almost won an Academy Award for the score.
They should have.
They were going to have Robin Williams, and they pulled it at the last second on the shoot for the show. They were going to have Robin Williams come out and sing the montage from the end of that film. How epic would that have been?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a quick question. This will be the last thing we're going to have on here.
We're going to talk about Robin Williams because I really want
somewhat. Just Aladdin. Just Aladdin.
He did very good as the genie.
Okay, well, he wasn't only the genie in that movie. The theory is that it's a fancy theory, and I kind of believe the theory.
Is it from the same guy that keeps coming up with this weird shit? Is it?
No, it's okay. The theory is that Aladdin is about like 3,000 years in the future. That is the theory. That is why the genie has references to a bunch of like pop culture, like every time he does stuff, like the Jack Nicklaus reference.
Or it couldn't have been written for.
Here's the deal: if you want to be a straight, get the lady, you gotta be a straight shooter.
Or
you got it.
Could have been written for kids and parents that are up to speed on pop culture. That could have been it too.
Well, he said he'd been in the lamp for 3,000 years or 10,000 years, so therefore it was in the future because he had reference to all these pop culture events.
Because it was written to engage the audience.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the time-traveling genie stuck
Robin Williams plays the voice of the guy who started the movie. Remember the guy who's like a salesman, a merchant? He's like, "It's not an ordinary lamp. This is the lamp. This is the lamp with the genie in it. And that's why he started telling the story.
You show me this guy's webpage because he smokes a lot of weed.
The reason why that theory is out there, that the genie is that guy. He becomes that guy. Because apparently the theory is that once you are freed as a genie, you gradually lose your powers and become more human. And the reason why they think that, because first off, Robin Williams plays the voice of both characters. Second, those are the only 2 characters in the movie with 4 fingers. Only 4 fingers. He has 4 fingers, the genie has 4 fingers. Everyone else has 5. Has a full-on hand.
Could that just not be a little Easter egg for people to discover?
No.
Not everything has fucking meaning.
Why can't it have meaning?
It doesn't have to have meaning.
Why can't it have meaning? Why can't it have meaning? What's so wrong with having meaning?
Because meaning is convoluted.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You know what? Since you're going to do that to me next week, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read an excerpt from one of my theoretical physics books to you.
No.
Yeah.
No, I won't listen.
Oh yeah, you're going to have to listen to that.
I'm not listening to
that.
that.
Yeah, you're listening to that.
What's our top 10 next week?
You said randoms. with a Z.
Okay, randoms. It's top 10. Top
Well,
10
you're
anything.
just see that this is where you convoluted me. Do I have to like pick a top 10 favorite something? Because when you say random, I'm just
No.
ice cream, cupcakes.
Let's say, for
chocolate cake.
example, I pick my top 10 apps on the iPad. That would be my top 10 random. It's a random thing you pick. And you got to do top, like, say I did top 10 condiments on a Subway sub.
Okay.
Like, you just pick a topic that would be out there. We're not cooperating here. He's doing his own, I do my own, and we surprise each other. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Make it fun and interesting, but don't make it like top 10 poops. Top 10 poops in the history of my life. March 2nd, 2005, I had a very good poop.
I had the Marge poop.
I had the poop where I was in the stall at Walmart and had to grab a hold of the handicap things for a power squeeze.
We refer to that as the Thunder Dump episode. All right, Internet, have a good day.
I'm going to release the Kraken in the toilet.
Kraken. See you next week.
See ya.